Hello, Accelerated Math 6-7 students. We are beginning our next video, and the next video that we will be working on is video 22, and it's called Interpreting Division of a Fraction by a Fraction, and we can find that on page 43 of my comp book. I'm going to turn to that now. All right. Interpreting division of a fraction by a fraction. So yesterday, we talked about interpreting division of a whole number by a fraction, and the day before that we did interpreting division of a fraction by a whole number. So hopefully you're starting to see the progression of how this new module is working. Today we're actually going to be on grade level. So this is a 6th grade standard. The last two lessons were just a review of 5th grade standards, so now we're moving into our 6th grade standard, which is the requirement of 6th grade students being able to divide a fraction by a fraction. So our goal for today is, today we are going to learn how to divide a fraction by a fraction. Pretty simple goal, okay? The question that I want you to be able to answer by the end of the lesson is, what must be present to divide a fraction by a fraction? There's a very, very specific thing that I'm talking about, and I will show you that during our lesson today. Okay, so let's get started. First thing that I want you to write down and be familiar with is a common denominator. Hopefully this is not new to you. Hopefully you're very familiar with common denominators. A common denominator is the bottom number of a fraction that is the same as the bottom number of another fraction. So let's do an example. First, my thing that I want to ask you is, I have 2/3 and 5/2. My question to you is, do these two fractions have common denominators? Hopefully you are saying no, and you're shaking your head. I put a box around each denominator to highlight them, to make your eye go to them. These are not common denominators. This is thirds, this is halves, and so what I would like to do right now is to teach you how to turn them into common denominators. And so how we do that is you take the original fractions that you were given, 2/3 and 5/2, and we think, what is a number that both denominators can go into evenly? And when I see 3 and 2, the first thing that I think of is I think of 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an empty fraction bar situation, and I'm going to write a 6 and I'm going to write a 6. And then we've been doing this all year, the multiplicative rule of what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I ask the question, how do I get from 3 to 6? How I get from 3 to 6 is I multiply by 2. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 2 times 2 is 4. So now I have 4/6, and then I have to also do this one. So my common denominator was 6. How do I get from 2 to 6? I multiply by 3. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 5 times 3 is 15. So now I have the two fractions that are now common denominators are 4/6 and 15/6. So that you can see they both have a common denominator now. Okay, so the next thing that we need to be aware of with our fractions is the dividend. Okay, the dividend is the number that is being divided. It is the number that goes into the house. When you have a fraction, the dividend is usually the numerator. Okay, so that's another piece on here that I want you to write down that I just thought of that's going to be really helpful. And we're going to put for dividend, we're going to say usually the numerator. Okay, so make sure that you put that in there too, because that's kind of a big aha moment. Dividends are usually the numerator. Okay, then we also need to know what a divisor is, and the divisor is the number of times the dividend is being broken apart. So you're taking that number that's in the house or is the numerator, and you're breaking it into the number of pieces that are at the denominator. This is also known as the number that sits at the door. So when I say in the house and at the door, we're using a vinculum or the house symbol for division. Hopefully you guys are familiar with that one. So another thing that I want you to write right here is usually the divisor is the denominator. Usually the denominator. So you need to know about that. Okay? So other important helpful things to help us as we start on this journey of dividing fractions by fractions. So the next thing that I need you to be aware of is the quotient. And hopefully this is an easy review for you. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. And I'm sorry, I was running out of room, but the quotient usually sits up here. This is supposed to be an arrow to show you that this answer is sitting up there. So the dividend is red, it goes in the house. The divisor is pink, it's sitting at the door, and the quotient is usually sitting above there. That's where you find the quotient, okay? So hopefully those are just review words for you. Turning the page real quick. We have one more page of information to help you. Again, new page has to have the title, Interpreting Division of Fraction by Fraction. There is a model that is really, really helpful that helps kids. For some reason, it makes it very comfortable and very easy, but it's called the Noun Adjective model. So this is like a tape diagram, a ratio table, all those things that we've been working with, except this one is specific to division. So it's called the Noun Adjective model, and this is a model that uses words and numbers to show the fraction parts of a division problem. So here's an example. If we have 2/3 divided by 5 halves. Okay, and remember those were our fractions that we started out at the very beginning, 2/3 and 5 halves. So I'm now making them a division problem. So notice what I did. 2 is the adjective because it's describing how many thirds. So that's the noun. 5 is the adjective because it's describing how many halves, which is the noun. So we have 2/3 divided by 5 halves. So in order to do this, we have to find a common noun, and what you found on the other page was the common noun of sixths. So 2/3 became 4/6, and 5 halves became 15/6. So then what you do is you write it as a division problem. So 4/6 divided by 15/6, and then, like we learned when we were doing conversions, 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So you have 4 times 1 is 4. 15 times 1 is 15. So the answer to this problem is 4/15. It's very fun. We're going to practice it in class a lot. So don't freak out if you don't have it 100% done right now. I will teach you and help you in class. Okay, so the area model is another model that helps us figure out these problems. And this model is a model that uses the question, how many of what fit into what? So we could say this question is, how many 5 halves fit into 2/3, okay? And so what you're doing with this is you're taking 2/3 divided by 5 halves. So how many 5 halves fit into 2/3? And so we draw a picture of this. And these pictures are very similar to what we did in our other lesson. You draw a picture of it, and then you have to show where the colors overlap, okay? So this right here is 2/3. Do you see it? 2/3. I have 3 sections, and 2 of them are colored in. Okay, now this one is supposed to show 5 halves. So I have, here's a whole, cut it in half. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see the 5 halves? And then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take this one and set it on top of this one, and then you only double color what is sitting on top of it. So did I have this down here? Nope. I only had it where you see the double color is. Do you see the double color? And so the answer to this problem right here is represented by the double color. So the answer is where the 2 colors overlap. So let's count what we have. Are you ready? We have to count all of these because I took this one, I picked it up, and I set it on top of this one. And now let's count what we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are double colored, so that's where the numerator came from. But then we have to count all the rest that we have. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the remaining color is what becomes the denominator. Okay? So let me say that again. Make a square, cut it into thirds, color in 2/3. Make 5 halves. So I have 1, 2 and a half. Do you see it? Because 5 halves is really 2 halves because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the halves colored. Does everybody see that? Then I'm supposed to take this one, pick it up, set it right on top, and then the answer is the one with the double colors. So there's only double colors in these 4 spaces right here. So those 4 spaces right there become the numerator, and then the denominator is determined by the leftover colored pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 becomes the denominator. Okay? So double color is your numerator. Other color is the denominator. Okay? This is really, really fun. And I think that it's going to make sense to you. We do need to do some practice with it because it does get tricky. So I have one practice problem for you that I would like you to try by yourself. Please do not freak out and panic. But here it is. This is what I would like you to try. So I would like you to try, let's do 3/4 divided by, let's do 7/3. Okay? So again, what do you draw? You draw a square, cut it into fourths. How many do we color in? 1, 2, 3, right? Now we notice this one is thirds, so our holes have to be cut into what, you guys? Thirds, and there have to be 7 of them. Okay, so let's count off 7 of them. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6, here's 7 out of thirds. Do you see why I only colored those? So now I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to set him on top of this guy. So I have to cut all of these into what, kiddos? Fourths, right? And then I'm going to color in what was already colored. So this one is colored, this one is colored, this one is colored, 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 colored. Do you see how they match? So now the question is, how many are colored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 as my numerator. And then the remaining colored pieces is my denominator. So count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So my answer would be 9/28. Okay? So that's one for you to do with me. Now, here's the one I want you to try by yourself. So I would like you to do 3/5 divided by, let's do 4 halves. Okay? I want you to try that one. So that's the one that I'm going to put on the board to double check to see if you've got it. Okay? All right. Very quickly, let's go back to our question to make sure that we've got it. What must be present to divide a fraction by a fraction? I'll give you a hint. Dun, da, 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 right here. Okay, my dears. That's it for now, and we will have some more fun with this in class. See you soon. Bye.